So let's take a look at the new FCL server we're calling Forward 1.
Yeah, this is.
Go ahead.
This is with 54, by the way.
Right. Yep. Same machine.
Yep. Okay.
This one, we're on the same page. Yep. And you changed the name, I saw. That's good. Host name. I should warn you, particularly in clusters, it's especially hard to change a head node name.
Mm-hmm.
So, be cautious of that in a cluster situation like SGI ICE and stuff. So right now we're just addressing the file system issue.
Right.
And we had needed to take the archive, which was a stripe three-way, and wanted to redo it as a RAID 5. And all of that was being done by Mega RAID Storage Manager. Now, go ahead.
Right. So what happened was I made I'll admit it up front now. It was a mistake on my point. I removed the archive partition, then tried to rebuild it through YAS, like you see on the right, which I believe was the source of some of the problems, because when I went in, it was trying to look for it in FS tab, and it was not finding it, and I think that was part of the issues. Why that's impacting DMF, I don't know.
So let's just, over on the left, just do a LV scan. So we do still have the DMF logical volumes there. And we don't see the archive logical volume yet.
Right.
Okay. Do a PV scan for the physical. So we don't see anything in there. The partition in redoing /archive has not been marked as an LVM yet.
Right.
Okay. Now let's look at just the DMF ones first, and then we'll come back to archive.
Okay.
And again, at this point, I wanted you to play around. We learn from mistakes, things like that. So it's all good. And again, I wanted you to get the hands-on now. I didn't want to be a talking head, because that's another hour that you could be doing.
Right.
But don't be afraid to jump back to me if you think, sanity check, or if you think you're off track or something.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's go on the left. Again, I was starting you with YAS because /11 is more common and YAS makes it easy. But let's edit FS tab over on the left and uncomment the top two, the DMF home and the DMF spool. And then do a mount -A.
Oh, hold on. Let me quick see. Sanity check those two. All right. Ooh.
What are you doing? We just needed a mount -A. You don't need anything else.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I was wondering what you're doing, but a mount -A would read everything in FS tab.
Oh, I didn't.
Little a.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Now do a DF. So just backing up for a second, some people like to do the mount physically like you were going to do, but I like to get it into FS tab and then do mount -A, and I'm doing two things at once, because now I've got it in FS tab. If I do it the other way and then do it twice in FS tab, I have to redo it and might introduce a mistake again.
Okay.
Right? So it's my personal preference to just put it in FS tab, and then you can mount it. You could also done a mount /DMF/home and specified a particular file system to mount. But mount -A just tells me my mount tab FS tab is clean. So those mounted okay. I don't see any problem there. So let's uncomment the rest of them.
All right.
And no, leave archive out. We don't even have an archive. Remember, the LV scan doesn't show anything.
Right.
So we're just sanity checking. Go ahead.
Okay.
DF-H.
Or H. Okay.
And everything there looks good. So in rebooting, I want to actually recreate it along the way, but not today. I'll give it back to you later. But if we had mucked up archive, but left it in FS tab, but it wasn't right anymore, and then on reboot, it will drop to single user mode, and SLES is built to say, you got to put in root password to get to a prompt, and from there you can then mount and repair and edit FS tab without having to go to rescue. Now, rescue is a good exercise for you.
Yep.
But I'm not sure if you ever hit this, because I want you to, it's a common point during boots. I'm going to eventually have it fail on you. I'll introduce problems along the way. Sorry, but it's good for you.
Yep.
One where it can't find root and the device mapper is screwed up. Maybe the kernel module isn't loaded, things like that. And then another one being like having problems with this file system. So I don't know how far you got in your boot before you decided to go to rescue mode. Can you describe that for me?
Sure. So what happened was I actually did not have a choice in the boot. So I was able to get through. What eventually happened was it was going through, it was verifying that all the 60 drives were there, and it gave me a message which said, without me doing anything, without me jumping into hitting delete or anything, it was telling me to go to the only way that it was going to be able to proceed was if I booted into recovery mode, at which point it demanded the password. So it was never a conscientious decision on my part.
Okay, no, so that's something I probably haven't experienced before. I don't have experience with these RAID controllers and stuff. That sounds like you were actually in the BIOS before you even got to the BIOS setup screen opportunity, right?
Yes.
So you were actually still in the firmware, and the firmware is listing out all the 60 drives, and it listed the logical, and that's when it choked.
That matches the messages I was getting during boot.
Sure. Okay. So I was just trying to connect, and I don't want to introduce problems right now. We're just trying to practice things. So now we're back to there is no physical volume. The partition table and stuff like that are not marked on this device for /archive. So we can go back to that. I'd like to get a desktop and look at the MegaRAID controller software first.
Sure. I'm glad I actually did make this mistake because I've been learning more about. I'm not going to forget the role of the FS tab now.
Yeah, yeah. And again, when we get there, right now I'm depending upon normal bugs, but eventually that's what I would do for students is just create problems for them. And that's when I took the Red Hat certification test. You got like 6 problems thrown at you and given a certain amount of time to fix them. And the first one was you had to break into the system.
Yep. Trying to remember my password. There we go.
Now, when you went rescue mode, you didn't actually have to root. You could have just mounted that.
Sorry, I had the wrong one.
And mounted it and edited it without going through everything since it was just FS tab. Did you get my point on that?
Right.
Sometimes I'll even copy an RPM into that mount point before I chroot into it. You know? So the chroot would be required to change passwords, install RPMs, and things of that sort. But it was good for you to get some experience now on rescue, because if nothing else works, Pixie boot, and there are different levels of rescue too. I'm giving you the installer rescue versus the rescue option on a normal kernel.
I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Let me go grab it.
Yep, it's okay.
All right.
But again, for the next couple of weeks, I want to give you as much play with these boxes as you can.
Yep, I want that. Especially after
you won't have 120 drives, 10 terabyte drives for playing for a while. Anyway, we were going to bring up MegaRAID Storage Manager.
Yep. All right.
Again, terminology mixes up, but basically a LUN, a logical unit, is used in a lot of different ways. But we're using the MegaRAID adapter card to do the RAID configurations that the OS doesn't have to. We're also the RAID controller card.
So, okay, very briefly, let me ask about that then. So, I've always treated MegaRAID as simply a piece of software, but you're telling me there's actually a hardware card in.
Yes, there is a PCI adapter card in here with 2 ports on it.
Okay.
And in fact, you can see in the controller 0 right under dashboard.
Uh-huh.
So it's a 3108. That's the card, the RAID controller card that is in the PCI slot.
Okay.
And we'll get back into inventory, LSPCI, and stuff like that. So you might even have multiple MegaRAID controllers in there with larger disk farms behind them.
Okay.
So yes, there's a physical card in there. It even has a cache on it. I think it has 2 gig of memory. And it's all on a PCI card that then attaches into the SAS buses. So this is our SAS controller that's controlling 60 drives, and it's a switch in it as well as cache, and that cache has different configurations to it. Go ahead.
Okay, so how you're talking about the ports? Are we talking 10 gigabit ports or?
I think there's 6 when you click on dashboard. No, I think you're on dashboard.
I am.
I think one of them actually shows it's available there. What the I think it was like 6 gigabit per second or something. But anyway, click on physical. Click on physical.
Yep.
Click on the controller on the left, and in there.
Yeah.
There, no, that's size, flash size, chip size. Well, anyway, Tom would also know, but I'm sure it's in there somewhere. I've seen it.
Okay.
What the interconnect is for speeds and stuff. Like, it could be 2 gig or 6 gigabit per second.
Okay.
Try going down one more on the left. Click on the actual port instead of the card. Anything in there? No, I'm not seeing anything there either. Okay, well, anyway, let's go to logical.
Okay.
So which LUN do you think you built for? So we had 3 drives that we were going to go RAID, but we needed a RAID 5. Now, which one is which? Let's go back to the left. Go back to the window behind you. I'm sorry, the putty window behind you. Okay, so what do we got for LS SCSI? And most of them are the DSK MSP1. You can't really tell from sizes here. We were mounting the other one is MoveFS. That was the other one. So which one is the MoveFS? Do an LV scan. Actually, we probably do a VG scan. So MoveFS, and now do a PV scan. And MoveFS is SDE. Okay?
All right.
So that's the one we don't want to touch. The other one was also 3. Now, so SDE, what's the LUN ID for that again? LS SCSI. Go back to LS SCSI. What's SDE? And SDE was 4.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
So I went from a logical volume down to the physical device, got a dev SD path, figured out its LUN number over on the left, and now back in the RAID controller. That's the one we don't want to touch because that one was the MoveFS. So over 1. So now we need to find the other 3 drive. But again, Tom will track these, and he'll actually put different file systems in different Lund ID groupings, right? You saw my point? So you might start off some at 100 and 200, 300, makes them easier to sort. So we need to find out which one is the one that we can use. Was it SDH? I don't know. So go back to your Mega RAID storage manager. We don't want 4. Yeah, go to logical. Sure, go to logical. So that was, well, that one looks like virtual drive 4. So that's the one we do not want to touch.
So
what's the other?
Let's see.
That was 3 drives.
Down here.
There. Okay, so you follow me right now? So that's the Lund, and I can only do that because we knew that the other 3 drive was, you know. So that's virtual drive 0. So now go back to the left.
All right.
So now 0 is SDA. Let's do a parted on /dev/SDA and type in a P. Okay, so it doesn't even know what SDA is yet. Yeah, let's just get out of there for a second. Go ahead and and try it on SDB.
Oh, sorry.
Parted, yeah, that's fine, on SDB. And type in P. So that one's clean, and that one is an LVM. Quit out of there. In fact, that one was 80 terabyte for that, so that's one of the Lunds. So go back to A. And we're just sanity checking again. Is A the one that we want? Type in P. Again, it doesn't really let's try a ignore. And that's okay. Now let's try a P again. Oh, it doesn't like it. So this one is corrupt anyways. So now it's the risk. I'm saying, okay, I'm pretty sure this is the drive we want. So let's just step on it and do a make table GPT. And now do a P. Of course, we've lost the prior partition table. And how big is it? It's the right one. And I was 98, 99% sure, but, you know.
Okay. When we're done here with this task, I see what we did here with, I'm just trying to recreate some of the steps that we did earlier. I want to make sure I understand how we got to this point. So we went into Mega RAID here, and we had a theory. I mean, we knew through process of elimination that this group down here is what we needed. But
so I did multiple sanity checks, correct.
Right. So I could have also done this by doing a physical scan and then using that to do the logical scan as well. Before I'm trying to make sure I know how we got to SDA.
So we got to SDA by the Lund number, to be sure. Remember, these SDs can change all the time. After a reboot, it's not going to be the same. So quit out of here. And LS SCSI. We used the Lund number over on the left.
Right.
It's 0200.
And I'm trying to understand how that matches I'm trying to find the Lund number here in Mega RAID.
Oh. So go down 2 more lines. That's drive group 7, but there's your Lund number right there, virtual drive 0. Oh. See that virtual drive 0?
Yes.
I think that was what you missed that my eyes saw and you didn't.
Now this makes sense. So what we did is
virtual drive 7 above you. The one go up above the prior virtual drive. No, prior virtual drive.
Yeah.
There, that one's Lund number 7. Okay. Now, when you go into expert mode, you can set that Lund number to what you want to be. We just didn't have enough Lunds to make it worth, and I'm just trying to start off simplistic. So that's what you missed. I saw virtual drive 0 there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did some sanity checks saying, well, I know, blah, blah, blah. But I hadn't followed through everything.
Okay.
So I had to double check to say, yeah. And that was the RAID 5 that you did. So you'd done everything right. Now the jump off after reboots and stuff is finding that thing again. And that's what we just did, right? Does that make sense?
Right. I see. So
And if you'd actually made that thing, gone expert and made the virtual drive 100, it looks like it would have been in different order then. So A, B, C, D's are your virtual drive numbers.
okay.
Or your LUN numbers. Go ahead.
So this number, so I'm seeing the 4 digits here in LS-SCSI, and I'm trying to understand which one corresponds to the virtual drive number here.
One.
Hmm?
0 through 7 going down. The third.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
0 through 7.
I suspected.
No, that's fine. I gotta have you ask. I don't,
Yeah.
think. And then the 2 is the adapter. If we had multiple pads and stuff, then those change, and you've got multiple entries for the same device with multipath, such as our SAN and what we have on our UVs. Okay.
All
So
right.
it even gets messier when you have multipath.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
But I've dropped into parted just to see if it had a partition table and stuff, but it still could have been a Oracle ASM drive. They don't have partition tables.
Right.
They're a raw device. Anyway, thoughts?
Yeah. So my first thought is I'm trying to understand. I see through parted that I had a corrupt partition table. I understand that part. What I'm trying to understand is how I managed to corrupt it in the first place.
Well, I don't know if it ever got built when you tore apart the RAID. If you didn't have the proper device name and went back into YAS to try to rebuild it, I don't know what happened at that phase. So,
Okay.
Interesting. It did say there was a GPT at the end of the volume, and there is a possibility to possibly recover that GPT.
Mm-hmm.
But we went into parted and stepped on it anyway, so just start over kind of thing.
Right.
So at
Okay.
this point, we can go to YAST, and we know, again, if I'd rebooted, it's going to come up different possibly. So you got to be careful about that. And that's when we started the very beginning on Trillion, was this whole question of tracing back from a DF and file system out to the device,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then making sure, what is root? And I want to make sure I get the right device and things of that sort. There are more advanced options in LS-SCSI, but we're not interested in them. Not at this point. Try, I think it's a T, LS-SCSI-T for target.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I thought that would give me more, but there are other options to LS-SCSI. Try capital T, maybe. Trying to get for worldwide names. Well, anyway, I don't want to dig into it further. -- list.
Mm-hmm.
Or -- long. Try -- long. And that kind of, again, I was looking for worldwide names and stuff. So that's giving me other information about each of these devices. But let's move forward.
Okay.
So we know we have SGA. Let's go back to your YAST and create our archive.
All right.
And again, at some point, I'm going to have you do it by command line, but because this is SLES and so forth, the concepts at this point are easier. So
Right.
we want to go up to the logical volume, or down. There we are. Hit enter. We're going to do an add volume group. Go ahead. And we see SGA there. Now, the other day, I was having you go into the device itself and do a make GPT and a make part,
Mm-hmm.
and then set the LVM flag. But with YAST, it's going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
No slash.
Oh, sorry.
not a mount point. So,
Right.
and I avoid dashes because then you end up with double dashes.
Right.
Some people put underscores. Like US Postal will do a BG underscore for volume group or LV underscore, but that just makes it longer. So
let me
go
briefly stop and ask one question then. So with so in this case, I had to manually create the partition tables. Do I always have to do that, or is that something?
I've been making you do it for habit, but right now when we select this device, it should do it for us.
Okay. I'm glad for the habit. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, because when you're at the command line, I wanted you to think about that whole process.
Sure.
So you had the make table, the make part, and then the set LVM1, and this is going to do that for you. I just wanted that etched into your mind a little bit more.
Sure. Okay.
Because when you're on CentOS and stuff, you won't have this GUI or this capability. You're all by command line.
Right. All right. Got that.
And again, I'm probably going to be going to Oracle Linux now that SGI supports it. No, finish. I don't know why you want to go back. There we go.
All right. Very good.
So now what? So we've created a volume. Actually, it hasn't been done yet, but we've configured a volume group. Now we're going to create a logical volume on it.
Mm-hmm.
Call it archive. We get into thin pulls when we get to KVM and stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, pull down. Is there any other stripe options?
Nope.
Can't. There's only one /dev, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into stripe unit and stripe width a long ways away still, but XFS, yep. It's just going to be on your own. Type in what you want /archive.
Okay.
That should do it, and that should do it. Let's do the next.
Okay. Will these changes be would this normally update FS tab?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good. I'm trying to get it. The reason I'm asking this is not that I'm looking for a cheap exit, but I'm trying to get a understanding of what the normal operating procedure is here.
For which?
For things
the
like
the makeFS before it's put into FS tab. The makeFS takes a long time, depending upon the size of the file system. But I'm not sure. I don't think that's what you're asking.
Okay. I was just making an observation here.
Now we do it with LVM. We have the ability to add a disk, add it to the volume group, and increase a logical volume, and then tell the file system to grow.
Right.
But the disadvantage of that is you might have possible alignment issues where now that you've grown it, the files aren't evenly dispersed and stuff like that.
Right.
So you were trying to ask a question, and I said this makeFS takes a while depending upon the size, but you had a different angle on a question.
Yes. Yeah, my question is, so just now we've done work with Parted and also with building these file systems through YAST.
Yeah. I only use Parted as a sanity check.
Okay. Okay.
So I was at command line with LSCSI and all that sort of stuff, and I used Parted to see that it was the right size and whether it had a partition table. I didn't want to step on it if I didn't know what it was. So we'll get back to actually doing things by command line, but today, the only reason I was using Parted was to sanity check it, and the only reason we did the make table was so that we could see the size and confirm.
Right. Okay.
And we'd already seen that it was corrupt when we came in to look at it with Parted. If it hadn't been corrupt, I'd have to do further sanity checks as well.
Okay.
Did that help answer what?
It does. It does.
It's nice, particularly in this area, it's nice having the YAST interface to do a lot of this stuff. So for me, since it's running SLES because of licensing and stuff, and again, our UVs came with a SLES license. So it's easy for us to have SLES within the shop. A year ago, because management wanted a free OS, we started using CentOS. Red Hat, we've had support problems all over the place. So, and again, kind of shifting from CentOS in my mind now to Oracle Linux because that's supported by SGI, and therefore we can run the same OS on a UV as we do on our other platforms and not have licensing costs. Unfortunately, by the way, this DMF and stuff still depends upon SLES 11.
Okay.
And our other systems, we've been running SLES 12. One of the problems, I don't think Docker runs on SLES 11. And in fact, Trillion right now, that first box that you installed, and then we lost the root, remember, when we started? That's still a SLES root, but it won't run Docker. I'm still keeping it up and running because I'm playing with it. In fact, it's hung twice in the past day. Okay, we're done with that.
All right.
Quit out of there. Do a DF-H. Tom likes a big H because then those are in power of 2. And we can see /archive is down at the bottom now.
Yep.
Now we'll get back to command line later. I just didn't want the mechanics of the syntax to be in the way of the concepts right now.
Okay.
So, any questions on that?
Yes, I do have one. So, so here are the order of operations that I did that I believe caused this problem in the first place. Yesterday, when I was working through this, I figured out which that it was. I think it was SDA or FTB or sorry FTD on that was being. That's what Archive was using. The problem was I was trying to bridge that information to figure out which drive group was. I should have been using LSCSI, LVScan, and the like to make that connection.
Yeah.
But there's...
Again, I go DF first, and then LVScan, and then VGScan, and then PVScan, just out of habit, but you could go straight to PVScan.
Okay.
And then from PVScan, I get the device, and now I got to use LSCSI to match the LUN to what the MegaRay controller LUN tells me. Yes.
So there's no way to get that information through MegaRay.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't know how it's being presented. Even the OS doesn't know how it's being presented to the OS because of the device names shifting around.
Okay.
So after a reboot, it's not going to be SDA possibly anymore. So no, the MegaRay doesn't know the logical or the /dev entry for it to the OS. It doesn't know how the OS has interpreted it. No.
Okay.
And then you get multipath to make it worse. Go ahead.
Okay. This is actually very good for me because that was my struggle yesterday. So I'm not going to forget now how to do this. So I'm happy. So this makes me happy.
Now, again, we're going to go back through the stuff over and over, and you have other activities and things go to the back of the mind and will then come popping back up. But let's move on at this point.
Okay.
Real quickly, though, I want to go into YAST and remove some products.
Okay. Sure thing.
Oh, before we go into YAST, do the check config boot.xvm. V Victor. Go ahead. No. Oh well, too late now.
Do you want to
go
back
back
on?
No. Go back. Turn it. Leave it off. Just go back 2 spaces. I wanted to know if it was off before we turned it off because it was starting still. Just do a check config boot.xvm. I want to see if it's off now. Because we turned it off yesterday. But then this do a service boot.xvm stop, because we still have that XVM ID problem. I'll bring up top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still there. So I'm not sure where it started. It might have even been before. I don't know what that XVM ID is, but we need to just get rid of it.
Okay.
Now, I'm also suspecting XVM is causing the NVMe problems we have as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to try to replicate this and actually install this stuff on NFS server and see if the NVMe problem comes back with SGI software. But in any event, let's quit out of here and go into YAST and remove some products.
Okay.
Software management. So tab to the right, down one. This can get a bit painful within the YAST because it'll keep complaining, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you do that. So I'll go to the filter.
Okay.
And we want to get back to patterns and down to the SGI pattern groups. They seem to have a bug in their patterns. By the way, SGI software comes with release notes that tell you how to install it, but that's usually done by command line with zipper and yum. No, I'm sorry. Go back to the left to the pattern groups, down arrow there to get to the SGI ones. So we got to make sure we don't uninstall DMF. Okay, keep going. So one more. Okay, tab to the right. No, go up one. We're going to pick, no, go tab to the left. Yeah, there you go. Tab to the right now. We're just going to pick through these, but tab down. I'm going to keep memlog. I'm going to keep PCP. Just keep going. Going to keep PCP. PCP is getting to have, they're breaking it up into thousands of things. That one's good. Build key, yes. I don't care about any of that stuff. I got to talk about KDump later. SMP, yes. Support utils, yes. Keep on going down. I'm just picking through them. Hold it. What was, I think SGI IRQ balance. Delete that one. Go up. We'll talk about almost the last, we may be a year away before we talk about interrupt handling and stuff, but again, I want to be thorough. And let's see, SG tools we want. We don't have a UV. So get out of there and go to the next SGI group.
Mm-hmm.
Pattern. I'm just trying to clean some stuff up and nothing there. That's good. The next pattern. I'm going to keep those.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, tab to the right and, nope, go up one. Add SSMC.
Okay.
I don't like it that much, but it's a GUI for this box. And it has PCP plots and stuff. That's what it's using Ploticus for. It's plotting PCP data. So now go back to the left, patterns. And we want to probably end up going down to common. But next, DMF, we already know that's good. And none of those good. Okay, what's in this one? Go back up to NAS server. And tab to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have a problem with the enhanced NFS that we're going to have to look at some other day. I don't want to push too hard today, but go on down.
Mm-hmm.
The link occurred, but it's picking up the old one rather than the new one. Is that all? Keep going down. I'm just picking through to see what I can get rid of. Keep going down all the way. We don't really need, well, let's leave Samba on. You never know.
Okay.
People still use Windows, but I'm not a big Samba fan. It breaks too easy. Now let's go back to the left and go to the common group.
Mm-hmm.
SGI, ISP common, tab to the right. And go on down. I'll keep going past PCP. Past that stuff. Hang on now. Hold it now. Yes, keep going down. Okay, now one more. This is a GUI for the CXFS cluster system.
Mm-hmm.
Cluster file system. It's an SGI Cray product. We're not using it. We're not running CXFS. So I don't really want it. So let's see if we can get rid of all these sysadmin pieces.
Okay. Let's see.
Of course, sometimes a dependency will be complained about, so I don't know. That's good. One more. Okay, now go down to XVM commands. Oh, go to the XVM commands.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, go all the way down. There you go. So delete that one. That's where XVM underscore ID is coming from.
Okay.
And then the next two as well, if you can remove them. And I don't know what SWatch is. That's a new one to me. But anyway, let's tab to accept.
Okay.
Go ahead. We didn't get any complaints, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about patterns or dependencies. What's a real drag is if it suddenly decides, well, I got to change everything underneath you, and suddenly your base is gone.
Yep. Or it decides to do something.
Happen.
Or if it decides to do something to the kernel.
I got somebody in Peru, friend in Peru right now, that's trying to set up 2 glibcs on the same system. Okay, so let's quit out of there. RPMQA, grep for XVM. See, we got rid of them. We didn't get rid of them, so whatever you did didn't work right. Do it again. I wasn't sure what the keystroke that you were getting there, but I should have double checked. But go up to filter to patterns. This time, just go down to common. Everything we want's in common. Again, after initial installation, you're kind of keep going down all the way. That one's good. Keep going down all the way. It was the deletes that didn't. So tab to the right and go down to the end. I think you want to tab to actions or something, and there is a help there too. There you are.
Okay.
And now it's complaining. So deinstallation, the first one, select. So I don't know why you didn't get this last time, and I'm sure you hit a minus.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. So notice it's got a minus sign instead of that other symbol. I don't know what's going on here, but tab to the next product. And notice it says in notes there, a minus sign deletes it. But you got an update for some reason. When you did yours, the greater than sign was indicating an update. Keep going.
All right.
We got up, go up a couple. Up a couple. Up a couple. One, yeah, right there. Down one.
Mm-hmm.
There's the rest of that admin interface.
Okay.
No, not just XVM. Down, down, down. After XFS, 2 more. There.
These?
Up one. So that one's fine too. So starting there, you have 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So how are you doing? Minus twice, or why did it get to a minus this time?
I don't know. The first time I clicked this and it gave me the window and I said, yes, I'm sure. And the rest, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it changed its behavior on us.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was expecting last time was the minus sign, but let's accept.
Okay.
and quit out of there and check for XVM.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
ls mod grep for XVM. Good. So again, I want to install an NFS server and see if I can replicate it. But again, I'm trying to keep you in the loop on every one of these things because now's the chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There was the other thing was the NFS server. Do a mod info in pipe NFSD pipe less. NFSD pipe less. So that is the vanilla one for some reason. Go ahead and quit.
Uh-huh.
Service, NFS server stop. Service.
Oh, service.
The service command. So, no.
Oh, it's just
Service space. There you go. NFS server. Stop. Yep. And also NFS stop. I'm sorry, my mistake. Service NFS stop. Yep.
I figured it out.
You'll get used to me. Okay, so now let's see if we can RM mod. Remove the mod. RM mod NFSD. Good. So we had to stop the service or we said the module was being used.
Yep.
Okay. Do a dep mod. Go ahead. So this is supposed to create a new dependency list, and for some reason, 94 week updates, no such file. By the way, I do have a bug on the SGI post upgrade script that I've reported.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all warnings. I don't know what that's really telling us. See if we can do that again and pipe it. See what's at the top of this. Pipe into more. It might be all standard error anyway. So yeah, standard error. Redirect it into a file like /temp/err. And then let's do more on that.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on.
Oh, standard error. 2 greater. Sorry.
Hold on. Wait.
Yep. No, back up. You're redirecting file descriptor 2.
Okay.
That's why more didn't work. It went to standard error instead of standard out. Go ahead. Where's the 2?
Oh, sorry.
No. There. In front of the yes. Oh, you can also actually, so I didn't like all of that. Oh no, that's good.
Okay.
Modules must be specified using absolute paths. I'm not used to seeing errors like that, but by the way, a 2 greater than ampersand would put standard error into standard out.
Mm-hmm.
There are commands that are a pain in the butt because they write stuff in standard error and you want to pipe it.
Yeah.
Okay, well anyway, let's do a mod probe NFSD and see what we get loaded. I'm not expecting it to change. So mod info NFSD, pipe it into more. And it's still the SUSE one. So let's do the RM mod NFSD again. Now CD into lib modules. No, lib slash modules.
Slash.
And then do an ls. And let's check our current kernel, uname-a. And by the way, we don't have support for this, but if you notice, SGI screwed up, and there's an SGI directory in there.
Mm-hmm.
Remember all those warnings?
Yep.
That's the SGI directory. It got put in the wrong spot. So we're on a 94 kernel, so let's CD into the 93.0.101, CD splat, no slash, just CD splat 94 asterisk. There you go. LS. So I bet it's in week updates, CD into week updates. LS, CD into updates. And is it in there? NFSD, yep. Do an INS mod. Oh, hold it. Before we do that, do an LS-L. And they are all going to the original 63 kernel. And doing, let's see, let's do that again. grep for NFSD. No, up arrow to do your LS-R. Pipe, yeah, no, big R, big R. Big R, big R, capital R, recursive, there you go. Pipe grep NFSD. Oh, we don't have the full path. Do a find dot dash print. Dash print, find space, or find dot space, dot find space, dot space. Dash, you need a dash in front of the print. And then grep for, you still need a space between the dot and the dash. And then grep for NFSD. It's only in the current directory. Well, oh, I'm sorry. We were doing an L. Up arrow. No, what do I want to do here? Up arrow to the LS-R again. And change that to an L instead of an R. What I'm trying to do is get the path in the little L.
Oh.
Trying to explain what I want. So we're trying to do an RPM QF on that right path. That I want to confirm that libmodules 363 default updates is from SGI. So RPM QF.
RPM QF.
F, yeah, there you go. Space /lib/modules /splat 94 splat tab. And then that was updates. And then nfsd.kl. Go ahead. So a little bit of work there. No such file. Oh. Well, anyway, let's just move forward. What did we spell wrong? Well, anyway. Oh, it wasn't a 94. It was 63. How did I get a 94? That was my mistake. You follow me right now?
Yeah, I do.
There we go. There. I was just trying to confirm the file we're going to load was the SGI one. So now let's see if it loads. INSMod nfsd.ko. INSmods /nfsd.ko. Okay, so there's something still wrong with this. I want to troubleshoot that later. I don't want to spend any time on that right now.
Okay.
So there, again, something's wrong with SGI and the way they link. I could go straight into their tree and simply copy the file that we were just getting the permissions on into the new tree, but I'd like to do it correctly with the week update stuff. Let's see, you did turn off the OpenSCSI. Do a check config on boot.OpenSCSI.
I'm sorry. Typo.
Yeah.
Yes. Hold on. What did I?
Open SCSI, no dash.
Oh, like so.
Yeah, try that.
SCSI.
Well, I'll do this. Check config dash big A, grep for open.
Yep.
Dash capital A, grep for open. Again, Red Hat and SLES are different in that. Oh, it did have a dash. Sorry, boot.open, but it is off. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Do an LK underscore host ID and mail that to me.
Okay.
Underscore host ID. I need that for the license.
Sure. Let me. Oh, I can't copy and paste.
I know, but you can redirect it in a file and come back to me later or something.
For sure.
Just get out of the directory you're in.
Let me just pipe that. Sorry, redirect that here.
Sure.
Into.
And then chmod it. 666 or something.
Yeah.
I don't even care about 777, but /temp/license. Then I'll grab that later.
Okay.
So I didn't want to drive on this too far right now, but I do want this one to boot while we go take a look at NFS server. I'm just kind of checking things here. Oh, one other thing here. Bring up a desktop. You got the desktop behind you. Get out of the Migrate Storage Manager.
Yep.
So I'm just pushing on here. Do a virt-install. No, one word. Virt-install is one command. You have two I's in there? VIRT? I don't know what's going on yet. Let's just skip out of that. Let's reboot that system. Get out of your VNC.
Yep.
And then from the console, let's reboot that thing.
Yep. Okay.
Now, on the other window while we're waiting, let's go to NFS server.
Mm-hmm. 10.1.10.53?
Yes.
All right.
I have to think about it too.
Yeah, last time I had to go into 10.1.10.
Do a df -h. I just use -h because it's shorter. So the other, last week, as soon as I got the Megarate stuff going, I built all these file systems.
Right.
Do an ls. There should be an fio.sh. Do more fio.sh. Okay, so I'm grabbing the inventory there, page on down. Keep on going. So there, right there, for each type of topology, so these are file systems that are going to CD into and run the tests.
Okay.
So I was just trying to do a single drive, and then 4 that was just stripe, 4 that was mirrored, 4 that was RAID 5, 4 that was RAID 6, and then 8.0, 8.1, 8.5. I didn't have enough disks for 8.6. So you understand what I'm doing?
Yes.
You following it? So go ahead and page down. There weren't enough drives for the last one. Keep on going. So right in there basically is my FIO. If you remember that heat map that I'd shown with all the left side was the random and sequential and many threads and stuff. Top was request size. So I'm trying to generate that data and get Tom to help me with a heat map. So quit out of there. I've loaded into an Excel spreadsheet, but there should be a fio.stats basically with a PID. So do a more on fio.stats any one of them. Hit a tab.
Yep.
1/8.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what it's generating me. It's giving me a timestamp, and then the first one is topology. Then I've got the timestamp of this. That way I can go back and correlate it to SAR or PCP, things like that, right? That 1303 was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay?
Right.
Then I got the record size, and then I'm getting the IOPS and the bandwidth. So all I'm doing is grepping the FIO command for the line that has BW and IOPS on it, and then just running it through this repetitive thing to get all these sizes. And maximum was about 30 gig. The slowest was about a kbyte. Same disks behind it with different types of I/O and different types of topology. So I'm going to render this into a heat map.
Okay.
So it looks like the right booted.
Yep.
On the left, though, now quit out of there. So you said you'd built a RAID 6 and 8+2 for me?
I did.
Okay, so let's find it. Let's repeat what you did on
Sure thing.
board 1, and then we're done for the day if that fits your
It
mindset.
does. Okay. Okay.
So DF didn't show me an 8+2, so I need you to get that online.
Sorry,
So
DF?
how about you bring up a VNC viewer and double check with Mega RAID, the London number, and just repeat what we did.
Okay. No, thank you for giving me that task, because I want to practice what I did earlier.
Until Steve says he wants these things running online tonight, I'm taking, again, until Tom is healthy enough again, he can't even talk yet. I'm just trying to give you every opportunity.
Yep.
I've had the opportunity, so I want to try to work any of these issues. I didn't want to do anything behind the scenes on you.
Hold on. Oh, 53 I need, sorry.
And that's why I don't want root, so I don't get tempted to go in and figure things out more.
So what are we going to be using these boxes for then? Do we know?
So Ford is going to replace our home.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And then NFS server is going to be a backup of the DMF data set. So Trillion is a completely different box. Trillion is a toy, as far as Steve said, was basically just for VMs and stuff. He just bought it because he had the budget, as far as I could tell.
Yep.
But the one we were just on, the Ford one, is going to replace our current FCL server and basically be NFS home. But I've also created a /archive on there.
Yep.
For things that are off on the SAN, like the Genome and Department of Justice.
Right.
Now, these are two separate file systems, but they're still going to share the DSK MSP1 on Ford, and also NFS server is going to be the second MSP for 2 copies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So NFS server is really just the backup to what's on FCL server when we put it into play.
Okay.
So we're going to go into MegaRAID Storage Manager and just confirm the London number.
Yep.
I wanted to get Tom involved so he can help you figure out how to keep track of a couple of thousand spindles.
Oh, sorry.
And I wanted you guys to interface with Zolt so that you can see how he does it, so that we're all on the same page if we ever get a contract for SGI equipment.
I definitely want to reach out to Tom, although since he's still out of action, I'm not sure now's a good
I know. Well, I'll work on him because I thought he'd be a good guinea pig for you to practice directing.
Yeah. No,
as a lab partner team, because then you interact together better. Go ahead.
Yep. All right, let me do that. Okay.
So we're looking for the 8+2 Lund number.
Okay. Let me dig that up. After it loads. Okay.
That looks like it there. So it looks like a virtual drive too. Now you won't be able to tell much size difference between these because all the RAID 8s are going to have the same size.
Okay.
So we were looking for, what was 0 again? What was the one? 2.
Yeah.
So LS SCSI.
And we want...
2 is SD. Oh, I need that behind you. Yeah, click there. We don't need the mega rate anymore, really.
Yeah.
We just got the 2, is it? And 2 is SDM.
Yes.
Okay, because you haven't rebooted, I suspect, it picked a name that's at the end of this whole list, but after reboot, it's all going to shift, right?
Yep.
That makes sense. Actually, and again, it's still coming out. The order on the left is by Lund number, so it's going 0, 1, 2 there. But the rights are all going to shift in terms of naming. It will probably become C, right?
Yep.
Okay, as long as you see that. So, what do we got on the drive? Parted on SDM?
Yep. Sorry, Dev, SDM.
So, same sort of thing here. I don't know what's going on. Let's just break out of there.
Okay.
And okay, so we do have some information there. It was 80, blah, blah, blah. No LVM. Appears to be used. Oh, not all the space appears to be used. You need to fix the GPT. Let's let YAST do it all right now. Okay?
Okay.
So, SDM. Go into YAST and turn SDM into a file system named 8-6.
Okay.
And then we're done after a reboot.
All right.
I think we can just try going straight to Volume Manager.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine with what you were doing, but Volume Manager will do it for us too. Go ahead and add Volume Group.
Okay.
I was making you do it the other way for habit, but end of the day.
Yep.
So it does find SDM there. So we're going to call this 8-2. I'm sorry, 8-6. No slash, 8-6. Go ahead.
Yep. Let me get SDM.
Yep. So what you were about to do, I was making you do for habit, but I'm just skipping that right now. Go ahead to finish.
Okay.
And now we're going to what?
All right. Now what we're going to do is
We just created a volume group, so now
we need to have a logical volume.
Yeah.
All right. 8-6 slash 8-.
No slash. Anyway,
Okay.
8-6. And mounted as 8-6. Both sizes fine.
Yeah.
And it's only one Lund, so you can't stripe. Change it to XFS.
Yeah.
Except for slash boot, I always use XFS.
Uh-huh.
Now, Celeste 12 has butter. We'll talk about it, but I'm not comfortable with butter, actually. Yep, that's good. Tab to finish. Tab to next.
Okay.
So both systems, basically, when we looked at the Lund that you had there, had a messed up GPT for whatever reason. Without having a recording to go back on or memory, I don't know why.
Okay. But
it's not typical for me to see the GPT discrepancy like we had there.
Well, I'm happy that I've been able to go through this task twice. I feel like I'm starting to.
Yeah.
It's good to have some understanding, for instance, of why we would use parted.
Uh-huh. So again, I'm using YAST for convenience, but it's only SLES based, and I'm also trying to stress the command line and use parted to get to the introduction of what we're doing and stuff conceptually. But when you're on Red Hat or CentOS and stuff, you'll be at command line.
Okay.
And you're going to be doing this more.
Yep.
So my plan is to have you with Tom, rebuild NFS server from bare metal.
Good.
And then try running the same benchmark that I did, build the lunge that I did, and see if you can replicate the same experiment, is my thinking. All based upon time and relevance.
Yep.
The thing I'm trying to do is trying to be relevant for you. So if it's not relevant, I've told you to speak up.
Well, I frankly want to start with the building right now because that makes the most sense. I will freely admit that I have a personal interest in working with boot scripts, but that's more just for personal, familial reasons. That's something that my dad talked a lot about growing up. And,
yeah. So for me, a boot script is a system D script or an init.d script, but.
Yeah. Now, the other day he was talking to me about how he used to write about the prompts he would write from the era.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyway, I do want to get with this and then eventually work over to the instrumentation when the time is right. I really kind of enjoyed the task that we did earlier this week where we were using perf to go through, identify the different processes. Yeah. It's kind of just, for me, almost just the natural progression from the kind of debugging I've done many times in the past with GDB or whatnot.
That's the kind of stuff I love. I just need you to get the opportunity on these machines until the production.
No, I like it.
I know. We're getting there. I can keep throwing videos at you until you're having nightmares, This case studies where all I did was log into the system and start figuring out what happened.
Yep. Remember for me, my upbringing was kind of a software developer where I spent a lot of time using these sort of debugging tools or many times print statements. So that's often the mentality that I have with applications.
It is bothering me that I've got Trillium that hung twice. There was an overlap last night on a disk drive. I don't know if it's realistic. It's telling me 200 degrees Celsius on a disk drive. And I've been running a workload on it, the genome stuff, but then it hung again today and there was no temperature alarm. And KDump and KDB are tools that I'm used to, but I'm not getting them to work on the super micro. And it's a BIOS type of thing where the two talk to each other, I think. But again, I don't know where I can get support from anybody on this. Going to have to try super micro or something.
Yep.
SGI has their own KDump patch to get it to work on UV stuff. And I did try that patch on our system just to see if I could get the KDump working. But there's a file called proc sysrq-trigger, and you can echo a C in there, and it will crash the system and bring it down as a way of testing or getting a snapshot. And that just hangs the console. You don't even get the initial shutting down of the kernel to get the KDump. It's completely hung as soon as you do that. And again, not used to this hardware, got to figure that out. But I got the only signature I got is heavy context switching and a high temp alarm, and I'm running heavy work on it. So I got to try to find a better pattern and see if I can replicate it. We're done. So let's quit out of there.
Sure.
Now do a ls-l on slash. Now, what's that 4-1? That's interesting. Not even mounted. It shouldn't be. Maybe it's a mount point that maybe you stole. I bet you stole 4-1's LUN and it still thinks it's there. You see that?
Yeah, I do.
I bet that's what happened. I don't want to reboot this, but tomorrow let's reboot it and see what happens.
Okay. Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Now, what I was looking for, you see the temp file system? Third from the bottom? Look at the permissions on it. What are the permissions telling you?
Telling me that it's 777.
And?
Hold on. It is... I'm not sure beyond that it's 777.
The T. The T stands for sticky bit.
Oh.
File systems, the sticky bit means it's owned by root, but non-root can create files and directories in it.
I've never seen that before.
So temp and var temp are examples of that type of file system.
Huh.
So
Okay.
it's a 1777 instead of just 777.
Oh.
So
Okay.
the file system that you just made, the -6, what are the permissions on that one?
Let's see. Unfix. Let's see, that's correct. I'm trying to do the one.
I'm trying to log in, so
Yeah. What? 7. I'm sorry, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
sure. Hang on here a second, Rip. Let me get back. I was logged in. Let me get back. So now you do an ls-l / pipe. No, pipe rep 8-2. Sure didn't like something there. You're in a dead file system. Oh, 8-2 was the dead file system. 8-6 is the one I want. So only you can write into it.
Mm-hmm.
So now do a chmod 1777 on that directory. Oh, one more 7. One more 7. Yeah, 3 of them. There you go. Slash.
Oh.
Now go back to your ls. Well, anyway, you were going to up arrow and grep ls on root and check the perms on that. Up arrow, where were you? Up arrow with the grep. You had a grep. That works too. You with me?
Yeah.
So now non-root can temp, var temp are built that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, what's the last thing that's missing that we're going to leave alone to create a problem?
Well, there are any number of things we could do with mounting it.
We just saw it. So what's the problem?
Well, if you're talking about
type in dmessage. No, dmessage. Pipe it into tail too. DMESG. Sorry, DMESG. Pipe tail.
Oh.
Remember, you deleted the one for 8-2, but it's still mounted.
Yeah, we need to U-mount that.
So if I reboot, it's going to choke on it, but I want to leave it alone, and we'll come to it the next time you have.
Sure. I'll have some time tomorrow for sure.
Sure. So as far as I'm concerned, we can wrap up now.
Yep, this is great.
If there's anything on your mind, let me know, but this seems a good break point.
Yeah, no, Dave, I really appreciate this joining me. I feel like I'm really starting to get a handle on this, especially connecting the different tools I've been using.
Sure. Like I said, you learn from doing. I don't want to talk.
Well,
other than I'll walk you through doing, that's a little different.
Yep. Well, before the next join me tomorrow, I want to do more. I want to do some more of these tasks on my own to see what new problems I can.
Oh yeah, you will. And again, I think it'd be real good if we can get Tom to commit where you and him do an NFS server from scratch.
Sure. No, I would like that a lot.
I appreciate your patience with me as well, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.